There was another shooting from ICE in Maine. No, was it in Maine? Yes, Maine. Pulled out of the car and shot by an ICE officer. I'm turning that fucking down. That is so loud, Reuters. Like, what are we doing here, man? Is ICE killed something like 4 people in the past week? Yerp. Yerp. Yerp.
Later demanding answers after local officials say an immigration agent shot and killed a man in his car. It happened Monday in the city of Biddeford, which is in the southwest part of the state, south of Portland. An immigrant rights group identified the man as a 26-year-old Colombian who was authorized to work in the U.S. and had a social security number. Protests broke out hours after the shooting. It is the second deadly ICE-related shooting in less than a week. On Tuesday, agents shot and killed a Mexican man in Houston. CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Skanga joins us. What more do we know?
You're literally, for no reason, the amount of normal people that don't care about the lives ICE have taken is actually scary. Yeah, dude, nobody thinks about ICE. Like, I mean, yeah, some people do, and they're like, oh, ICE is bad, but they don't realize that ICE is literally a government-funded, government-backed, government-endorsed organization of people who go around and kill people. And it's good to see that ICE, also the evidence on the ICE shooting, but government hitman, yeah.
We know, Nicole.
Hi, Lindsay. Let's talk about what we know and what we don't know. The incident happened this morning at around 7 a.m. local in Biddeford, Maine.
Okay, this is an older. So, ICE is now stopping vehicle stops. You know, after the murder of like 13 people.
Breaking news. Reuters reports that ICE is suspending vehicle stops for immigration enforcement. They are a massive driver of deportations. And this comes after ICE.
I guarantee they're still going to do it, by the way. Guarantee that ICE agents are still going to do vehicle stops, even if officially they're not.
Agents shot and killed
because they face zero consequences. ICE agents face zero consequences for this shit.
Another person, the second killing in just 1 week. Johann Sebastian, the 26-year-old Colombian native killed in Biddeford, Maine yesterday, was a delivery driver, husband, and father. According to a witness who spoke with MS Now, Sebastian's wife and young daughter were seen crying at the scene. Hours after the shooting became public knowledge, DHS released a statement saying ICE
fearing for public safety. ICE was conducting targeted surveillance on the last known address of an illegal alien with final order of removal. The illegal alien departed the residence in a vehicle. Not an illegal alien, by the way. Driver of the vehicle was struck and emergency services were immediately contacted. He passed away from his injuries. Yeah.
ICE was conducting surveillance on a migrant facing a final order of removal when a person departed the residence in a car. ICE agents attempted to stop the vehicle, they say, and DHS says an officer opened fire, quote, fearing for public safety. But
guy driving his car to work or whatever. Yeah, dude, this guy, public enemy number one.
They have not provided any evidence to support those claims. The driver, who we now know was Sebastian, was hit by gunfire and later died. Maine Senator Angus King says DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullen has since told him that Sebastian wasn't the intended target of the operation.
Yep, again, not the... So, by the way, yeah, the term alien is so... Yeah. Obviously intentionally dehumanizing. By the way, guys, they don't care. This is why ICE, like, you can't, anybody who's ever like, well, ICE is doing some good by deporting some, like, truly illegal immigrants. No, they're not. Their goal is to terrorize people. They do not care that they are getting the wrong people. They don't. Don't forget that. They don't give a fuck. The reason why they don't care is because they want to put fear into people's souls and hearts over ICE. That's why this guy didn't stop. Why the fuck would you stop for a random car?
Nearby surveillance camera captured video showing the moments after the shooting. And I have a warning, it is difficult to watch. Federal agents can be seen opening the car door and dragging an unresponsive man onto the ground, pulling him further away from the car, then appearing to secure his hands behind his.
We shot this guy. Shot him. He's unresponsive. Let's just pull him out of the car and fucking handcuff him.
Back. Let's go right now to MS Now's Will McDuffie. He is there in Maine for us. And immigration attorney and former ICE chief counsel Veronica Cardenas is with us as well. Will, tell me what you're hearing from people in Maine.
It was a sleepy town about 20 miles south of Portland. This happened on a hilly intersection in a residential area at 7 a.m. People were waking up. They were getting ready for work. I mean, the fact that this would happen is unfathomable. But at the same time, people are upset here because this is not the first time we've seen an incident like this. And also, ICE presence in Maine really ramped up earlier this year. So they're familiar with the presence of ICE officers here.
Again, it ramped up because of the, what's his name? Oh my God. Graham Plattner. Like the way the left movement was moving in Maine. That's why it ramped up.
And
because progressivism took hold. Even though we don't support Graham at all. The reason why ICE increased its presence in Maine was because of that.
Park yesterday, there was a protest with a ton of people, including Senate candidates who showed up, and they actually walked up the hill behind me to a local Susan Collins office to protest. Now, I did speak to a couple eyewitnesses, including one gentleman on camera. Let's hear what he had to tell me.
I heard the kind of shotgun, and I just came out to see what happened, and first thing I saw was him, and a lot of ice hands over there, and I saw his wife and his daughter crying. That was kind of weird, scary.
How has it made you feel?
I mean, they are killing our people,
Now, to give you an idea of how close that gentleman was to the scene, I mean, right outside his house is a makeshift memorial right now for the victim. And that gentleman, he knew the victim. He said he was a family man, had a beautiful family, a wife and a young daughter, both of whom he said were on the scene yesterday. That's how he was able to identify them. He said the victim was a delivery driver. He reportedly was driving to work. And Tony, it's just so tragic all around.
It's incredible.
I am shocked that he gave that interview. That's incredibly brave. I did want to see this because there is new videos as well.
Footage by bystander video, as well as bystander video, which is shedding more light on last week's fatal ICE shooting in Houston of Mexican national Lorenzo Salgado Arrojo. Now reporter Britt Miller has more.
Calls for justice and accountability continue this morning after ICE SUV continues straight while the Arrojo is seen on the ground with agents standing over him.
A life was lost, and it was unfortunately someone who did not deserve it.
Lorenzo's son, Ronaldo Salgado, overwhelmed with emotion, telling MS Now his father lived in the U.S. for 35 years and was in the process of getting his work permit.
This is a man.
35 years, by the way. The fact that someone can live in the U.S. for over half of a lifetime, longer than I've been alive, and they're not considered an American legally, is fucking psychotic.
Man who provided for us, who provided for my mom. He promised my mom,
Free country, by the way.
that she would never have to work because he got us. So that's how I want the world to remember my dad.
And he says right now the family is focused on making funeral.
Yeah, this is the Texas one. But yeah. That is, isn't it? He provided more to this country than any ICE agent. Yep. For this, I'm wanting to see. I'm looking for specific. Here we go. This is what I was looking for.
Reported gunfire when a federal immigration agent shot into the small white car that 26-year-old Colombian immigrant Juan Sebastian Guerrero was driving.
There is zero reason to ever shoot into a vehicle of anybody. Unless there is a very obvious, incredible threat, no reason to shoot into a vehicle. There are reasons why police officers do not shoot into vehicles. And by the way, we critique police officers all the time here because they have less restrictions than the military. ICE has less restrictions than the police officers do in this country. That's how fucked it is.
Immigrant rights groups say Guerrero was authorized to work in the United States and had been issued a Social Security number. One eyewitness told the Portland Press-Herald he saw an unmarked SUV trying to ram a small white car at an intersection downtown. Moments later, agents in vests stopped the car and pulled the driver out. The witness said the driver was, at that point, quote, bleeding profusely from the head. He was talking. He said, "I tried to stop." Senator from Maine Angus King says Secretary of Homeland Security Mark Wayne Mullen
Bleeding from the head, by the way. Still handcuffed.
told him Guerrero was shot after he had, quote, weaponized the vehicle against the officers. That's something that we've heard ICE say about many other shootings. But then less than 2 hours ago, we should note this, DHS released a statement officially saying the officer shot Guerrero, and they said out of fear of public safety when he attempted to flee the scene. So they are not claiming in this case that he attempted to weaponize his vehicle, and they're not claiming that the officer feared for his own life. Elected officials across Maine are calling for an
What's going on? I keep crouching. Another ICE shooting. Unless the vehicle is shooting back, why would they shoot first? Literally no reason. There is no reason to them. And that's why they're saying in fear of public safety rather than in fear for the agent's life. Because they want to be able to say in fear of public safety for literally every shooting. They can just say, we fear for public safety, so we're going to kill every brown person. That's literally what they could say at this point.
Investigation into what exactly happened, but we know this from one witness who spoke to the Portland Press-Herald after the gunshots. There were dozens of cars, officers, and a body on the ground. What bothered that witness most was the body of the victim was on that sidewalk for the next 5 hours.
5 hours? 5 hours! What the fuck? Dude! Okay, police officer shoots a criminal. Criminal immediately. By the way, guys, he could have been saved. No, he was shot in the head. By the way, police officer shoots a criminal. Immediately gets rushed to the hospital. And then they get announced DOA. In the ER or wherever. They do not let a body sit there for 5 hours.
Guerrero leaves behind a wife and young daughter. So far, this shooting sounds like a story we've heard too many times. We saw it in Minneapolis with Renee Good, Chicago with Silverio Villegas.
Beyond horrendous. Morning, going to work and fear that they might be shot and never see their 3-year-old daughter again. Said they were fleeing the scene. They said it was a public safety concern. There's no accounts that this person had a gun or was attacking anybody else. And 4 shots went through the windshield. We've seen pictures of that. So to say that the vehicle was struck when this person was shot in the head through the windshield, it's just unconscionable. And I agree with you. This does not sound like any kind of protocol that any of our other public safety officers would be allowed to do. And what we've seen time after...
If a police officer did this, by the way, they would immediately be removed. The windshield is intact. No, you can shoot through a windshield. There will be bullet holes through the windshield. Let me see if I can find it. If any police officer did something like this, they would immediately be put on administrative leave for pending investigation, and they would most likely be incarcerated for it. Here, I guess this will work better. This is what I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see 4 bullet shot holes right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna move my mouse so you can see it again, but it's psychotic. Nope, didn't try to ram you. This is most likely when he was shot. I'm assuming he's driving in circles because he was shot. Like, genuinely. He got off with a flick to the forehead? Yeah, basically. Every ICE agent that does shit like this gets off with a flick to the forehead.
I tried to stop. Clearly heard him say that.
In an interview with the Associated Press, Daniel Boucher said that he witnessed an ICE officer pull a man out of his car after he was fatally shot in Maine.
I heard the pop, pop, pop sound, and I didn't know what it was. So I went to the third floor window that overlooks that street.
The man killed was identified as 26-year-old father Joan Sebastian Guerrero from Colombia. The Maine Immigrants' Rights Coalition says Guerrero was authorized to work in the U.S., but federal officials have not confirmed that.
Even if he wasn't, there is zero. We need to stop with this kind of like this line of he was legally authorized to be in the U.S. There is no reason to shoot somebody like this. There's zero reason to shoot somebody like this and murder them.
He started coming down the street again, driving. I don't know how, and then the SUV hit him again. He tried to. And then that's when he stopped. ICE agent got out, tried to open the door and had a difficult time, but eventually opened it and pulled the guy out. His face was bloody, his head was bloody.
U.S. Senator from Maine, Angus King, said he was told by the Homeland Security Secretary that Guerrero wasn't the target of the immigration operation.
The ICE
Again, they don't care.
agent that shot him walked right in front of me. And of course, I was emotional, and I just let him have it. And he looked at me and he said he tried to run me over or something to that effect. I don't remember his exact words. There was another ICE agent with him that was trying to comfort him, and they walked away.
The Department of
Fucking.
Homeland...
Actually, every single one of these people need to be put on trial, like, and sentenced to life in prison. Honestly, dude, I'm against the death penalty, but fucking man, fuck it. Sometimes a person just gotta go.
And security said an ICE officer opened fire, fearing for public safety, as the victim attempted to flee the scene in a vehicle. The department didn't provide details on why the officer believed Guerrero was a public safety risk.
And they're never going to. Guerrero did nothing wrong. Literally, Guerrero could have done nothing different in this situation, would have been the same. Even if Guerrero was like, let's say Guerrero was an illegal immigrant, right? Cool. Still doesn't constitute this. There is no reality where this is even conscious. Oh my God. Why can't I say it? Conscionable, or whatever. I'm sorry. Fucking can't speak. But there is zero reason to be able to ever to shoot someone like this. Ever. There is no reason ever.